And we are ready to go. Hey, everybody, welcome in. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game. The crew is back in fully assembled. I've been here. Brad's been here.
I had to be away for a while.
Oh, there he is. Mr. Kirchenbaum has returned.
Good to be back.
We're ready to do some stuff here on the program. We're going to talk WVU women's basketball. The season comes to an end in heartbreaking fashion. Mountaineer men's basketball has resumed practice as they get ready to head to Vegas next week. Mountaineer footballers are footballing. Spring practice underway now that spring break is over. It's going to be right down the hill from here. It'll go by so fast.
When does men's basketball practice for the next season start? About 3 weeks?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? That's what I thought.
Yeah, new classes in. Everybody's in. We'll just start for the next season tomorrow.
It's a double. Three Guys Before the Game brought to us by GoMart. Get yourself that GoMart rewards card and immediately begin saving on your food and fuel. And guess what? Today's the Vinyl Value Day. Or is it
not today? I think it's 26. We'll get to that later, but it is a doozy.
Oh,
it is a doozy.
Unbelievable. Go to GoMart.com, get the app.
What's today's date?
24th.
Yeah.
26 is Vinyl Value Days. We'll talk about that coming up.
Thursday.
You won't want to miss
Big day for us.
Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. What do? They do one thing, man. They just sell family fun. Award-winning. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com.
If I had a boat, I'd be out there this afternoon working on it, getting it ready.
Oh, yeah, you got to do that. They'll service it too, though.
Yeah,
it's here.
Three Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit.
We had them down at the State Boys High School basketball tournament. Yeah. Larry Post brought them in.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he charge that back to the company? Just asking
I would
for a
hope
friend.
so, yeah.
Three Guys brought to us by Comex Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Jan Dill's attorneys at law, they won't take no for an answer. By Conley's CPA Group, Spreads on Stats coming up, providing value beyond numbers. Textual Healing brought to us by WVU Medicine, the exclusive healthcare provider for all Mountaineers, including you. All right, let's do this thing. A lot of different angles to take following West Virginia's second-round game against the Kentucky Wildcats inside Hope Coliseum yesterday. Final score 74-73. If you are watching or listening, you already knew that. So what else did we take from that game? And there are so many different things. And we'll get into the statistical aspect of it in Spreads on Stats with Brad. We'll break down the numbers. But
I have some obvious observations.
Figured you did.
Yeah.
What are you chortling about?
Well, because he was worried you were going to move into things past his obvious observations, and we would say some things that show up in obvious observations. So he needed to come out of the gate to remind you that he's got those. So you might as well hit the music and let him go. Then we'll circle back.
That's well said.
Fair?
Well said.
As I'm here representing you.
I was afraid.
I know. I'm aware. Go ahead. Hit the music. Let him go.
Did it stress you out while you were gone that we've been talking a little bit in advance before you start your observations and we're taking your observations from you? Does it stress you out at all? Please answer the question, Mr. Kirchville, in the deposition form. Does that sometimes bother you, yes or no?
I don't recall.
Does that sometimes bother you?
I am sorry, I don't recall. Yeah, it does. A little bit. It does a little bit.
Told you.
Because it's obvious. I mean, I don't have Brad's stuff. I just got this one thing.
Play the music.
He's got thoughts that sound brand new, but they're things we already knew.
Already knew.
Got his lip balm ready. Heaven knows. Let's make it quick before his bladder blows.
Don't let the bladder blow.
Obvious observations.
Feel free to jump in.
Oh, no. It's all yours.
It was a fantastic game. A fantastic game, okay? Script-like, movie script-like is what it was, with a disappointing outcome. But in terms of the game itself, it was incredible. Like I said, like a Hollywood script. I mean, West Virginia, they go down as many as, 14? Mm-hmm. And come back. Fourth quarter starts, they're 12 down, come back. It was like 4 different games. Because each quarter, the first quarter was like the third quarter. The second quarter was like the fourth quarter. So there was so much drama. And I thought, the final shot was, again, like a Hollywood script. I mean, Mark Kellogg drew it up. And I was watching that huddle, and I had confidence because he was just drawing it up. I mean, he's a great coach, so you knew he had something working there, right? It wasn't just like, see what you can get. And then he had a couple options, and Gia Cook had the shot. They had the shot, did the step back, had the shot, and it was as close as it can come to going in without going in, right? Because it bounced. And if you saw the video from behind the backboard, Tony, it hits the front rim, the back, the front, and just rolls off the front. I mean, it was that close.
Yeah, it was.
It was that you can't come any closer. You can't come any closer without it going in. The unfortunate part of every sport except college football and the bowl games is that it ends with a loss, right? So today you're thinking about the loss and what could have been, but you got to put this in context. I mean, WVU finishes, Brad, 28-7, 15-4 at home. We'll be able to raise a banner at Hope Coliseum, Big 12 tournament champion. WVU has won an opening round NCAA game for the last 3 years. Over 3 seasons, WVU, think about this, over 3 seasons, West Virginia has a 77% winning percentage. 77%.
Pretty good.
And 72% in conference games. That might be, I was looking today, I didn't get all the math done, but that might be the best 3-year stretch ever.
Absolutely is.
Well, there's been years where they won 80%, but that's probably your best three-year stretch ever. Okay?
It is.
Okay. He said confidently. As for the game, Gia Cook, Sydney Shaw each had 23 points. Shaw 6 of 11 from 3. Man, that 3-point shot of hers was beautiful. And I thought Wheeler really gave you a heck of a performance. I mean, she's going in there, and Kentucky's got these 3 tall girls. I got a girl 6'5" and 2 girls that are 6'4" or whatever. And Wheeler had 16 points and played 39 minutes, Brad. Mm-hmm. I mean, she gave you like maximum effort. A couple of those reverse shots. I mean, she was
very crafty around the rim.
Very crafty.
Nifty.
Yeah. I just thought she was just really, really good in that game. Height advantage, I know you're going to talk more about that. Rebounding, it showed up 39-23. 12 offensive rebounds for Kentucky compared to 6 for West Virginia. But West Virginia, Brad, had 28 points in the paint compared to 32 for Kentucky.
Kept attacking. Kept attacking in the paint.
Right, attacking the paint. Tiona Key's play, that was a difference maker. She averages 11 points and 14% from three-point range. She scored 19 points at 10 rebounds. Asia Boone hit those threes in the third quarter. That was her, that 3 threes, right? In the third?
Yes.
So, they got players. They made plays. Just a great game. And on the television broadcast, I usually listen to Junior, but on the television broadcast, I watched it. And
you gave Junior the finger yesterday? What happened there?
No. I wanted. I tell you why. I favor Junior, but I wanted to see what TV was saying about the game because I thought this is our national opportunity here, and I wanted to see what they were saying about the game. And they kept referencing the 91-92 team. And I had some memories of that. I was around then. Tony, I guess you were too.
I was there. Yeah, I was there watching the game. Yeah.
I mean, that was a Rosemary Kosoric, Donna Abbott, Jocelyn Branham, Lori Wilson, Christy Cooper, Lori Quartermount, Jody Runner. That was a really good team.
The end of that game against Clemson would have been an absolute identical ending to yesterday's game if the shot went in. Jody Runner hit the shot in 92 to beat Clemson the same exact way from just the opposite side of the circle.
Yeah. So, It was nice to sort of reflect and remember that 92 team. And last but not least, Tony, as you like to say, Mountaineer fans show up. Mountaineer Nation.
Did they?
13,504 for the first round game against Miami, Ohio. On Monday, 12,830 for the Kentucky game. 2 games, 26,334. 26,000 fans for 2 games.
Right.
Great showing by Mountaineer Nation. They got a lot of shout-outs on the broadcast, and just a fantastic game, a disappointing ending, but what a showing by this team, by the fans, and a great season.
I'll get into the game here in just a second. Let's talk about the fans for a minute. I was talking to somebody last night about this. Mountaineer fans have an unbelievable ability to take something that's going to be a big event and explode the thing.
Yes.
Right from the pre-Penn State games to this to bowl games. They do a remarkable job. The fan base does of when something's already big, then they're going to take it over the top and make it even bigger. And I thought they did that. The fans were great. I'll talk, and we'll get into the specifics of the game because I thought there were a lot of interesting numbers coming out of it. But just macro for a second, to use one of your terms. So professionally, I've been intimately involved or around women's basketball for a long time now, almost 40 years.
Don't you have a championship ring from Connecticut's first championship?
Appreciate you bringing that up. Okay. I do, in fact, have a women's basketball national championship ring. But I was sitting there last night watching that, and the parallels to what I remember when I got to Storrs, Connecticut, Gina was just starting to ramp the thing up. And the first year I was there, you weren't selling out every game. You were averaging 3 or 4. And then suddenly you had a couple games where it went to 10. And then you started getting 6 pretty consistently. And it was starting to take off. And you were looking for markers where you kept moving the program forward from where it's been. And some of that was attendance. And some of that was the makeup of the team. A Rebecca Lobo, a Jen Rosati, who's the head of the Women's Basketball Olympic Committee now. Very engaging personalities that were really talented basketball players started to catch the fans' attention and helped move it forward. Then suddenly fast forward, and that came really quickly. Second year there, undefeated season, won a national championship. But I was thinking about that, what Mark has been able to do with this program in the 3 years and the parallels. And there were certainly some great players that have come before. Mike Carey did a great job of re-putting this program back on the map from a time when we stood over at Morgantown High and got beat by nearly 80 by Connecticut. Yeah. And fans were lined up for the Connecticut players' autographs, not the West Virginia players. And Mike comes in and gets that thing turned around and pointed in the right direction. And then Mark takes the baton and starts to move it forward. And I texted him last night and I just said, thank you. You moved this program forward for what they have done. They came close against Caitlin Clark in Iowa a couple years ago, and I thought that point moved it forward, moved the national needle forward. And then I'm watching that game last night, and that building's filled up at a weird time, 5 o'clock on a Monday.
That's a traditional start time.
5 o'clock on a Monday, which I'll get on a soapbox later about when that women's tournament had to be played. I mean, before our game, I'm watching Iowa play, a home game in the middle of the afternoon on a Monday. I mean, it's outrageous. Neither here nor there. The West Virginia fan base moved it forward. And then what does this team have player-wise? We just saw it when Jordan and Sid were in here. An engaging, really talented group of players that was a special group, and they took the program forward. So I just thought in a macro level, who knows what comes next? Hopefully you keep building this and move it forward. But I did think this whole program, fan base included, picked the thing up and moved it forward from where it's been.
Yeah. Several different thoughts. I think this program right now with Mark Kellogg, as you said, Mike set the table, and Mark has taken this thing now 25 wins, 28 wins. He is truly one of the best coaches in all of college basketball, and it's no different. Take a look at where he has gone and where he has won. He's done it the hardest way possible. He wins in hard places, and he continues to grow. So that's one thing. You've got one of the best coaches in the country, bar none. That's one. Two, great point by you. West Virginia fans have some special magic that, like, they're the water. Once you mix the ingredients up, they go, hey, this might be big. They go like, oh, yeah, watch this. And it mushrooms.
Explodes.
It was crazy. I got there two plus hours before the game yesterday, and it was just swarmed by people. So that was fantastic.
They're event-driven. West Virginia fans are event-driven.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. And the folks at WVU, hosting a tournament's hard. Hosting a tournament is hard, so I give a ton of credit because that thing went off seamlessly. So that's one. Two, someone asked me today about the sound in the Hope Coliseum during the game. I said this. I'm not going to say, hey, it was louder than a men's game or this game. You know what it was? It was as loud as it can be. That's how loud was it? It was as loud as it could be. There were several possessions where the place was absolutely roaring. And when that happens in that building, it's just a unforgettable moment. That's one. Two would be that when we had Sydney and Jordan in here, that they are only two of all those great stories that those ladies told while they were here. Like, that is magnified. That roster, those are like really, really good people. We talk about how nice the folks are, WVU men's team as well. But like, Mark is building a program with high quality people. They battled back 3 different times, down double figures in that game. That is unbelievably hard. And guess what? While it is painful that you did not win that game that you played to get that hosting event. It's not a guarantee that you will win. And here's, I say that why. Ohio State was eliminated at home yesterday in the second round. Hosting for the fourth consecutive year, they've now lost their second round game at home 3 consecutive years.
Wow.
Yesterday's scores included at home, a 2 seed getting beat in Iowa, 83-75. You had Louisville at home, a 3 seed winning by a single point, and you had West Virginia losing by a single point. So in the painful step to grow, the step this year was you won the conference tournament championship. You got to host. You didn't advance. The next step now is you've been there. You take that next step. It's painful to go through it. And
hard to win. This just in.
It's
hard
That was my
to
point.
win.
That was my point. As you could see from yesterday's game, the separation of winning and losing is literally to your point of a ball bouncing on a rim once, twice, 3 times. Does it fall left or does it fall right? That was the difference. And if West Virginia would have won that game, and as everyone knows, they were that close to winning that game. Think about this. Kentucky led for 33 minutes. West Virginia led for 2 minutes. There was 1 lead change. If Cook makes the shot, that was the second lead change of the game. They call timeout. West Virginia gets a stop. They win the game. That's how fragile it is to win these games.
Well, we've been on the other side. We talked about a men's basketball team that's 1 win, certainly 2 from an NCAA tournament in year 1 under Ross Hodge. Led Clemson for 37 minutes. Led Ohio State for 38 minutes. So the reverse happened. Unfortunately, West Virginia was just on the wrong side of both of those. But the same thing happened. That's hard. It is. Let me just blanket statement. I'm not talking about a sport, Hoppy. It is hard to win.
It is.
It's hard to win.
I thought that when West Virginia, speaking of obvious, when West Virginia was able to do what it wants to do, it was the most successful. By that, I mean have that swarming defense, force turnovers. But Kentucky did a pretty good job for 2 quarters on that, right? Of breaking the press.
Did a tremendous job.
Getting Strack.
They got out of sorts late.
Right,
for most of that game, that was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Is that Kentucky played how it wanted to play, and West Virginia's chaos that it likes to create couldn't get to the level. Then it started to.
Yeah.
At the end. But I was going to say to Tony's point, I got 2 other macros, then we'll get into the game. I thought Kentucky was exquisite. When that building got loud, they came with a pretty immediate answer.
Yes.
And you never quite got it to that avalanche level. When West Virginia wins those games in front of a raucous crowd, the avalanche comes, and you can't recover from the avalanche.
Saturday.
We saw it, well, Saturday, but Miami just wasn't good enough. I was thinking like Kansas on the men's side. Kansas just got like, oh my God, what's happening? And you get buried under the avalanche. Kentucky kept stopping it before it could get to avalanche level. You got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, why was Kentucky able to handle that? They played at LSU this year. They played at South Carolina this year, right? So that was not the first time that they were in a joint that was completely filled cheering against them. That helps you.
They were good, and they were good. They were very
They
good.
were good. But even that, they commented after the game on the crowd.
Yeah, sure they did, because it was a great crowd.
So it was a fantastic game. A great atmosphere, a thrilling game. You couldn't look away. You couldn't count West Virginia out. It just didn't turn out. It just a slight roll doesn't go your way. But what an overall experience.
As I get older, missed opportunities bum me out more, right? And I think because your opportunities are getting limited, right? As you get older.
Aging? What do you think?
I am aging, and this is an old man moment here.
Okay.
But I'm still not past it, and I don't know that I will be. Thinking back to Gia's last shot there, guys, that's an inch away from being an iconic, legendary play in Mountaineer sports history, not women's basketball history, in Mountaineer sports 1 and nationally 2. That thing was going to be in the millions of social media views, in that not only would it have won a game to get West Virginia to a Sweet 16 for the first time in 30-some years, the highlight nature of that, she crosses that thing over, and the girl falls like in the lane. That's what highlights are made of. And in that moment, that play she made, that was an unbelievable play by Gia Cook, and it had a great look. If that thing falls, man, that isn't just a a cool WVU women's basketball story. That thing transcends.
Yes.
That would have been, seriously, that's millions of views on social.
Yeah.
That was such a great move by her.
So here's my
awesome.
hope. We'll get into the numbers here in a second. Here's my hope that like 2,000 of the people that were there yesterday, like 2,000 of them, become regulars in addition to those that are already regulars. And so like Brad said, like just like at UConn, you build that thing and then you get a regular, hey, we're going to get X number. We know that every game, and you go from there. That's what I hope.
One last point on this is, and we've said this before, basketball specifically. You may have heard this before, Hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
There are great coaches everywhere.
Yes.
You can find great coaches in places you wouldn't think great coaches would come from.
That
and oh, by the way,
yeah.
and I'm thinking of Mark Kellogg in particular. How many people knew who Mark Kellogg was before he arrived here? You've landed on one of the very best coaches in college basketball. He didn't come from a power forward.
You know who about him? You know who about him?
The person doing the hiring.
Ren Baker. Do you realize at Northwest Missouri State, Ren had Ben McCullum as his men's coach and Mark Kellogg as his women's coach?
Oh.
So, number one, there are great coaches everywhere, especially in basketball. And number two, you can find great players everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Harrison turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
She was able to handle the rigors of Power 4 pretty well, not being somebody that started at Power 4.
How about when she
I think
came
we
up-
need to remember players and coaches can come from anywhere.
How about when she came up late in the game and just came around the backside and stole the ball from Strack?
Let's talk about that for a second because I have that in spreads on stats, but let's talk about that now. That was two things. And if you're going to be good like West Virginia's been, you need both of these. That is great coaching and it's great playmaking. And here's why. They didn't double the post. West Virginia did not double the post on Strack at all night. They were not digging down. They were not coming with a double until they absolutely had to get a stop and needed the ball back. And Strack, if you watch her, and she was phenomenal. We'll get into some of her numbers. When she put it on the ground, and as soon as she starts to turn, that's when Jordan takes off. And that girl, Strack, had no clue someone was coming, and it had never entered her mind that someone may be coming because you'd lulled her into sleep of 39 minutes of no double. And all of a sudden, here comes Jordan on that call to double at that moment and just said, give me that, and went the other way. That was a brilliant X and O, and that was a brilliant execution by Jordan. Just tremendous.
Yeah, really
it was a great moment.
Three
Good
Guys
job by
Before
you.
the Game is brought to us by Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. This note from Allison, who was a client there, from the very first call from a staff member at Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law to discuss my case, to being congratulated for winning my case. The entire team, amazing. They dealt with what I refer to as my freakouts. They were always there, not just for support, but also as my cheerleaders. None of what I have achieved would have ever happened without the wonderful, intelligent, and professional people at Jan Dill's. I highly recommend them to my friends, family, and anyone else. After over 6 years of struggling to get what I knew was my money owed to me, Jan Dill's did just that. I will be forever grateful. So if you or someone that you know needs help when it comes to Social Security claims, veterans claims, and personal injury, contact Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. Three Guys Before the Game is also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. We often say, start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. That super biscuit, super breakfast. Kercheval,
What's that?
this is his go-to. Spread of eggs made your way, choice of meat, crispy taters, and a homemade buttermilk biscuit as big as a hubcap on a 57 Chevy. I think that's how they do that.
It's about
Visit Tudor's Biscuit World right now and take part in their super breakfast. What's that?
I said I'd eat that right now. I'm hungry.
I should have. I didn't think it was biscuit time.
You're doing a ridiculous.
Whatever.
Your
Whatever
food,
part of the day it
your
is.
food
Oh,
management.
it's awful.
You just need to go get a complete reset on your food management.
Working on it. Efforting.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Time for spreads on
Still
stat.
hungry.
Hey, I got a couple other things, but I'll do them later.
What?
No, it's not. I want to get to Brad's stuff, and then I got a couple things to throw in if we have time. Because I know we're on a tight time.
Give the guy a segment all of a sudden. Hey, listen.
He hadn't been here for 3 weeks, so he's stored up. It's like getting shot out of a rocket here because he's been on vacation for 3 weeks.
I don't think it's that.
What do you think it is?
Well, I think you used to host a talk show in the studio for 2 hours a day. And I think when you come in here, you think you're still on for 2 hours a day. That's what I think.
Just trying to be relevant.
That's what I think.
So I check the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers.
Just trying
Here
to
comes a
help.
heater.
By the way, I can't get over how many people come up to me and Brent and say, be nicer to Hoppy.
I appreciate that, but I can hold my own, but I appreciate that. People having my back. Well, I'm the one who's attacked. Well, I don't know, Tony, you're attacked a good bit.
Yeah.
I got a text about you. Said,
Unjustified.
how come Tony doesn't have any gray hair? And I said, you got to look closer. I mean, that Grecian formula is not far away.
I ain't using that crap.
No.
Three Guys
Stop
Spreads on
using
Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. April 15th, tax day's coming up. You think they're scared? Ain't
Nah.
scared. They laugh at tax day. All the other CPAs run around.
Well, mine isn't.
They're a full-service accounting firm that do provide value beyond the numbers. They're consultants walking hand in hand with you. They've done it over 40 years, based right here in West Virginia with clients in all 55 of our counties and surrounding states. If you need help with your business, you need a plan, Conley CPA Group. All right, let's jump in. Spreads on Stats, the analytics of the game between West Virginia and the University of Kentucky Wildcats, 74-73. Anything when you dug in that made you go like, ooh?
I thought there were a bunch of interesting numbers. Let's start with this one, though, to recap from a bunch of fun parts of our sit down with Sydney and Jordan. One of my favorite, Hop, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but I quizzed them on Sydney in particular, like what are the best, your best spots on the floor in terms of shooting percentage? Where are they?
I think we saw it.
and she knew, right? She said immediately, guys, Hop, or Tony, she said left wing 3, right? I just found this interesting. First 3 of the game versus Miami, where'd it come from? Left wing 3. How about last night versus UK? 4 of 5 from left wing 3 from Sydney Sars. So you talk about a great combination, again, of getting an elite shooter into the spot where she makes the most shots. They did that last night. Both those things came to fruition. You got her there, and she just gets blistering hot. When she sees one go down, as a lot of great shooters do, then look out, here they come. So thought that was fun.
Kentucky obviously knew about her, but West Virginia did a good job of, right, Brad, of getting her open.
Scheming
Yes.
and running her off
Yes.
and setting screen. I mean, that all matters. Yeah, very well done. Just a couple notes, and we didn't do a preview episode on Kentucky, but I jotted some notes before the game to go through like what were going to be some keys of the game, and so I'll go to those here in just a second. But one of them was keep an eye on Kentucky from 2-point range with their size. 94th percentile nationally in 2-point percentage at 52% from the field. They were 56% from 2 against West Virginia. So they did a very good job there. Style was going to be a factor. Could you speed them up? They don't necessarily go really fast, again, because of their size. Averaged only 6 points per game via the fast break. That was in the first percentile. That's as low as you can go, Hop. First percentile. Last night, only 6 points via fast break. But I thought what they did a great job of, and we're going to talk a lot about Claire Strack, putting her into the middle of that press break really settled them down. They had a big, tall outlet there and could get it out of the trap before the trap could come, and then someone that could handle it. Then they also had others that could bring it across midcourt, and I thought their ability to handle that was probably the difference in the game. That's normally where teams explode against West Virginia or fall down against West Virginia. Strack was tremendous. All but 5 games this season where she scored in double figures. Kentucky was 1-4 in those games. And Hop, she was just tremendous. 18 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, which was above her average, which was 7th nationally. She was averaging 3 blocks a game, 7th best in the country. She got 4, and she altered infinite number of others. And we'll get to that in a minute because that was probably the difference too. West Virginia's inability to convert more shots at the rim probably ended up catching them.
She's about as good of a skilled big as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Really is. I mean, Mark compared her to Nowitzki with that little fall away. Super smooth, man. You know where she's from? Hamburg, New York.
Where's that?
Hamburg. Like 15 miles from Buffalo. So she went to Tech with Kenny Brooks.
Okay.
And then played her freshman year there. He leaves and goes, and he takes her to UK with her.
You know, Tony, she had a couple shots where you're defending it, but you can't defend it. You know, she's 6'5". She's on the baseline, 10-foot, turn, jump, shoot. You can't defend it.
Well, and I also thought in addition to just her, because they had multiple bigs, it put West Virginia in a disadvantage because someone was having to guard someone much bigger. And Kentucky ran that high-low double post that was really effective. Put one of your bigs out front that can see over your defender and drop into Strack on the inside. And I thought that was a really hard set for West Virginia to stop. The 2 biggest key points I wrote down before the game, number 1, did West Virginia get points off turnovers? Because the battle was this. West Virginia came into the game 98th percentile in points off turnovers per game. No surprise if you've watched that team. Against a Kentucky team that was 93rd percentile nationally in turnover rate. So they didn't turn it over a lot, and West Virginia feasted on that. So Kentucky ends with 17 turnovers, which was actually a high number for them. But as we just talked, for the most part, I thought they handled the pressure. Just 9 live ball turnovers for West Virginia, which is okay, but it only turned into 6 points. 0.67 points per possession off live ball turnovers for the game. On the season, to compare that, it's almost twice that. West Virginia is normally 1.1 points per possession off a live ball turnover, which is 99th percentile nationally. So if you niche it down, that was going to be major. Good on good, as you are when you get to this point. Which good was going to be gooder? Kentucky was gooder in that area, number one. Number two, second key. Did West Virginia, this is before the game, Hop, I wrote, did West Virginia get shots at the rim? Here's why I asked that. Kentucky coming in allowed half the national average in percentage of opponent shots at the rim. Just 16% of Kentucky's opponent shots came at the rim. So people weren't even going in there. Strack was 7th in the country in blocks, but most teams weren't even challenging him in there because they couldn't get to the rim. I was really impressed with West Virginia's ability to get to the rim, which it does. West Virginia averaged coming in 40% of its field goal attempts at the rim. So you talk about a big gap in what happens there. Which was going to pay off? West Virginia got in there. 37% of its shots came at the rim, but they made just 41% of those shots, 9 of 22. And you probably just needed one more, and you could have found those somewhere else. So, again, good on good. Both teams win at their strength, and they were maybe one possession better on that. West Virginia got a similar number of shots, more than Kentucky gives up. But West Virginia didn't make its normal amount from that distance, and that's probably your difference in the game.
Yeah.
A couple individuals. We talked about Gia Cook. She was tremendous, 23 points on the day. Sydney was great. 23 points, 6 3-pointers, 4 steals to close out her Mountaineer career. So you talk about finishing as strong as you can finish. She was tremendous. Jordan, 11 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 steals, 0 turnovers in about as high leverage a game as you can get. She was just what a joy to watch. She's been for 3 years. And Mimi Wheeler, Hop, you mentioned it, 16 points. More impressively, 8 of 11 from the field.
Yeah.
So her ability to draw out and hit a mid-range and her craftiness around the basket to work against a distinct height disadvantage and still finish 8 of 11, really impressive.
Can we franchise her?
Mimi?
Would like to.
Make her the franchise post?
That's the one you keep for 10 years or so?
Keep her for 10 years and just let her, yeah.
It's, Mark said after the game, it's too bad you only had her for 8 months or so. Man, what a season did she have.
Yeah. Awesome job.
Yeah.
Love her mental toughness. There was every reason size-wise to, like, back off yesterday. She just, like, stuck her face in the fan.
Yes.
You know how you're really good? Hop, you mentioned you were paying attention to that final timeout. Mm-hmm. You had multiple options. Right? He could have drawn up a bunch of different things there. Like Gia Cook was a great choice because of her ability to normally hit those mid-range, but she can also put it on the floor, which was coming next. If she hadn't broke the girl's ankles, she puts that on the floor, tries to draw contact and get to the line to win it. You could have gone Shaw from 3. You could have gone Jordan go to work. You had Mimi inside. Just multiple ways you can go try and win a game late. That was a great team to watch. Fun team. Yeah. Enjoyed that season a lot.
All right. So, yeah, heartbreaking. But at the same time, big picture, what an unbelievable season. You've taken another step, and it makes you look forward to next year already.
And don't forget, they won the conference tournament.
Absolutely. You got a banner.
I mean, that's put the banner up.
You got a banner.
Right?
You got a banner, absolutely. 28 wins is just one less than the all-time record for a single season of 29. And it does make you look forward to next season.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure it does.
It'll be a lot of new faces, but he will get them done, and hopefully this adds and helps your brand when you go out to recruit.
Yes, it will.
And, just like on the men's game, money is a huge factor in, getting players. And hopefully, a little bit more comes in now, and you're able to keep this going and pushing it because it's right there. It's on the precipice. You're on the precipice. Unbelievable job. 3 guys before the game. Brought to us in part by Comax Business Systems. Simple question, man. Is your phone old, smudgy numbers, can't press the buttons down? Like you push it down and you go, my finger's sticking. Well, guess what? There's phone systems out there now that not only have clean keys, but they can do so many different things. So if it's the right time in your business for a new phone system, contact the folks at Comax Business Systems. Many, many different varieties and models that you can talk about. They'll come in, give you a free estimate, check out what is best for you. So check them out. Comax Business Systems. Contact them at ComaxWV.com. Hoppy mentioned it earlier. weather, as predicted first on this show, is changing. We called it early. We called in the middle of winter. This is what we said in the middle of winter. We said spring will come, and it'll be boating season.
Good call on your part.
Yeah, we felt pretty good about it. And
Happens
now
4 out of 5 times this year.
Happened now that it's coming. If it's time to service your boat, if it's time to get equipment for your boat as you get ready for boating season, why wouldn't you go to the folks that have been doing it for 40-plus years? Lou Wendell Marine Sales, the only Honda Marine premium dealership in our state. They're award-winning. They pass the test of voters that deal with them. So check them out. Located in St. Albans, or go to the website, LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com.
One last thing on the crowd last night, because I know you got this too. Thanks to everybody that came up and said hello. Tons of Three Guys listeners at last night's game. They were awesome. One in particular wanted to get a shout out today and said, absolutely, we would do that. Our guy, Blaine Fury, Glen Daniel, West Virginia. Couldn't have been nicer.
Blaine was there?
He was there.
Huh.
So thanks, Blaine.
Didn't
Good
come
to
over
talk
and
to
say hi to me.
Well, you were kind of sequestered down there. You had people around you.
I had a guy and his wife yell at me to get their picture made. Did that, had an efforting T-shirt on.
Oh.
And lives down southern West Virginia. Says, we listened every episode after church on Sunday. I don't quite know what that means. I don't know exactly. He gets the word, and then he gets a different word. Completely different word.
Probably listen to us first, then go to church.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
That was neat. There were it was every bit of 15 different groups came up and said hello. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for listening.
Fantastic. Men's basketball practice has resumed over at the basketball practice facility. They started yesterday.
This is the 26-27 season?
It's kind of like 25, 26,
27.
the sequel.
AAU Summer League.
It's
what
the
is
sequel.
It?
So the world champion Mountaineers will leave next Tuesday. They'll leave the final day of this month, and they will head off to Vegas, and they'll play in the 8-team Crown Tournament, taking on the Cardinal of Stanford in their opening game on Thursday. There's going to be 2 quarterfinals on Wednesday involving 2 Big 12 teams. You got Colorado and you got Baylor's playing on Wednesday, and then West Virginia Stanford. And then the other side of that bracket is soon to be retiring Creighton Doug McDermott, and they're playing the Rutgers. And you win, you play Saturday, and then if you win Saturday, you play for the World Championship on Sunday. And the Mountaineers, been watching them today, they're up, man. It's not like anyone's dragging. No, they're into this thing.
Well, explain the significance.
Right?
They're excited. That's the first thing I noticed is those guys got away for a few days, which was good for them. They enjoyed some spring break.
Oh, God, they went down to Miami, a lot of them.
Some they were in different places as well. So they got away for a few days, got healed up, rested up, and they came back and they were bouncy and ready to go. And again, as we've talked all year, they enjoy being around each other. They're looking forward to playing, so hopefully that translates into some good performances. But, yeah, they were really bouncy today.
I think that'll be good for, next year the same team will be here, and they'll have been together for a year, then Brad, and with the new guidelines that exist.
Not quite how it works.
I got something for you on guidelines.
A little bit different. A little bit of a different
So,
one.
Tony, you sent me a story. I love this part of the
is this your? Okay, yes, it's good. Go ahead.
Well, you sent me a story about how college athletic departments are becoming full-blown entertainment ecosystems. Do you send that to Brad, too?
Yes,
I had seen it previously.
I did close copy him on that, yes.
I got it last week. Thank you.
And this is how we went for years and not much changed, and now everything is changing, not monthly but daily, and how college football programs are creating entire entertainment ecosystems within their programs, right? Not just a guy shooting video, but an entire television, video, internet, social media unit with dozens of people, professionals, with interns, with part-timers, to create content. Because one of the entities, one of the programming that is still getting viewers, Brad, is college sports, right? That's growing. So they're latching onto that and creating all kinds of content and almost immeasurable amount of content and meeting people where they are. Not saying you got to come here, but pushing out content to fans, to clients, to all kinds of people. And so colleges are adding expensive multimedia centers, staff with all these people. Brad, you talk a lot about the brand, and the brand's always been important. Now the brand is exploding exponentially, not only to programs, but to individual players. And the schools that are ahead on this are understanding that and investing in these high-tech, well-staffed, multimedia divisions associated with the major sports.
Yeah, West Virginia has it, and it's amazing as I watch. Every team has a cadre of shooters and creatives that follow them step for step.
Mm-hmm.
Like the getting onto the airplane picture has become standard in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't have a trip that starts off with, hey, the guys are getting on the airplane or the ladies are getting on the right, and then that creative comes from that. So, yeah, it's a whole new world. Now the question becomes long range. What is the ultimate ROI on that? And I think we're probably going to get that figured out. And if they feel that there is, then there will be more of it. But if they realize at some point that it isn't, then you'll see it go away.
It all this stuff cycles through. It's just different things. So first it was the glossy color media guides.
Yes,
that
correct.
was first.
Correct.
Then it was graphics inside of facilities.
Yes.
That's there. Now this is next.
Mm-hmm.
And brand building has become buzzwords, not just for universities, but for players. But you know what remains true?
What?
You know what remains true about brand building?
What?
From a player perspective?
What?
You know what needs to follow?
What, winning?
And it should come first?
Winning?
Winning in production.
Okay.
So winning in production comes, and then that stuff starts to really take hold. But you've got to produce. The brand building and all the fancy stuff that comes around that for a player isn't going to mean much if you don't produce. So you've got to produce. And so I know all these guys need to have the people around them and want to build their brand and want to get pictures and want to talk, want to do that. You better produce. That still remains at the heart of this. You've got to produce and you've got to win, and then all that other stuff is nice around it.
I got one other thing. So, Brad, props to you because you predicted the following development in NIL. There is, the clearinghouse, the College Sports Commission, that reviews NIL deals to see if they meet the standards of range of compensation and valid business purposes. And as soon as that came up, you said people are going to run through that like a bull through a china shop. 18 Nebraska athletes have asked for an arbitration hearing to review a recent decision by the College Sports Commission to deny NIL deals. The players are arguing that the College Sports Commission is denying them millions of dollars in compensation. So we'll see what happens because this commission was set up to supposedly monitor NIL to make sure that it was a legit NIL, that you weren't being overpaid for the services that you were providing. And a lot of schools have said, Tony, yeah, whatever. We're going to do what we're going to do, and we'll see what you're going to say about that. And that's where we are, Brad, as you talked about. That's where we are now, is that schools, big-time schools, are saying, we'll pay what we want to pay, and let's see what you're going to do about it.
So it's probably number one on the list of when people scream about you got to get it under control, you got to get it under control, you got to get it under control. You've got to want to play by the rules.
Yeah.
Right? And schools have shown they're just not going to play by any rules.
What are the consequences?
There were guidelines and guardrails put in place with the rev share, right? That's what it was supposed to do. And there were certain schools that just went right around that. So then other schools that were attempting to play by the rules originally now look around and go, well, hold on here. You're not playing by the rules. Why am I playing by? So we're in the same spot we've always been, just more money being spent in different places. But we're where we've always landed. So until you can get people on the same page and agree to follow the rules or some enforcement of said rules, it's going to be a tough landscape. And make no mistake, it's a tough landscape right now. So it's a tough landscape.
So guys, all of this, the settlement was supposed to provide some equality, right? Or some guidelines, some rules.
Yeah.
But if some, as you said, if some schools are going to go, okay, we're going to follow the rules, they're going to be in one group, and then another group's going to be, we're going to do what we're going to do.
Which, Hoppy, is no different, as we've talked about on this show for years now.
Always been.
It's no different than it has been. You just know about it now. You just know about the payments. You didn't know about the payments before, but it was the same thing. There were some people that said, oh, there are rules. Is that right? Is that right? I'm not following the rules. Don't care. Going to pay you over here. It wasn't as publicized as it was now. And there were other schools, the vast majority, that said, yeah, we have compliance departments and we're going to take it seriously, and we're not doing that. And that still exists. It's just more public.
It all changed when there used to be a fear that the NCAA was investigating you, and administrators would run quickly, and they would do whatever it took. They'd fall on their face, and they'd say, hey, we'll take scholarships away from ourselves, da-da-da-da-da. And then at one point, there was a seminal moment in which schools went the exact opposite direction of, oh, we're really sorry, to, hey, you know what? Screw you. We'll sue you in court.
You're wrong.
And you're wrong. And then when they started to, the NCAA started losing. And then all the other schools became empowered by that and go, hey, if they're going to go to court and win, and the entire paradigm shifted, that's why we are where we are today.
And you have, with particularly the Big Ten and the SEC are so big, and there's so much money involved with network television, it makes the NCAA look like a pea shooter.
Yeah.
Just like
exactly.
But remember, we always say, I know I'm a broken record, and I say this all the time, the NCAA is its member schools. I know there's an NCAA president and there's a staff in it, but it's the member schools. That's who the NCAA is. It's not this random nebulous group that sits over there. It's all the schools.
It's not a tertiary party to the
it's
conversation.
It's not a third party that comes in to oversee this. It's the schools. The schools are involved. I mean, how many times have we talked about various administrators here have been on NCAA councils and overseeing and putting rules in place and impacting it? It's the member institutions. So the member institutions aren't playing by their rules.
Ren Baker
they
always
have decided not to play by their own rules.
Ren Baker always says this. The one year he served as a principal at a middle school or an elementary school, whatever it was, he says parents are all for rules until it impacts their child. And the same in the NCAA. And Brad makes a great point. People forget. They always say NCAA, 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 like it's this third party out on an island that just sends out it's the freaking administrators and presidents of the schools that are making the rules. The NCAA's job is to enforce the rules. It's the same thing in West Virginia in the SSAC. Those are the principals that make the rules, and then the SSAC's job is to oversee that the rules are properly followed, that the rules have been created by their principals, and in this case, it's the colleges, and you'll never get that together. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand, but like you take the SSAC, I think that schools do for the most part follow the rules, but now you're to a point where Yeah.
What are you talking about? They follow the rules.
But that's part of why all this transfer stuff has become such a hot button over the last few years.
It just got changed by the legislature.
But it got changed back.
Why did they get changed?
Why did it get changed?
Because they had a preposterous thing where you could just willy-nilly transfer.
That wasn't the SSC. That was legislated. That was passed by the West Virginia legislature.
That's what we're saying. It's people and not the body.
Well, okay. But my bottom line is that I understand who the NCAA is. I understand it. I'm saying that just like you said, Tony, not that many years ago you would have, the NCAA. And now nobody gives a crap.
Well, isn't that our society as a whole away from sports? We used to have a respect for authority.
Institutional authority.
Yeah,
right,
we don't have that anymore.
That's okay.
That's as far as
it's
I'm going on
It's a larger conversation, but that's an interesting point.
How about this? As we talk about this, Arkansas today, freshmen.
The lack of enforcement is 100% what's happening right now.
Yeah.
As somebody that worked in an environment where you couldn't give a ride to a student athlete without worrying about that was an NCAA violation and having to sign that rule of enforcement. And here's the thing, guys. And again, I know we got to go and do some other stuff, but I also get it from a coach perspective. If you're going to pull the rug out from me and fire me after a couple years because I'm not winning, you know what I'm not going to care about?
I'm not going to
what you're doing or what you're doing at your school or what your rule is or what you're doing, because I like making $4 million a year, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make $4 million a year. And I'm not in it for the betterment of the sport. I am in it to keep my job.
And yes. And also,
because you're going to turn on me in a year and a half if I don't win enough games. So you know what I'm going to do, Hoppy? I'm going to go win games. If that's to go get an NBA player, I'm going to get him. If that's to get a guy in the G League, I'm going to get him. If that's to get a guy overseas that's been paid for 6 years, I'm going to go get him.
And the major television networks are, when Alabama is playing Georgia, they're not worried about what the rules are. They're not worried about where the players came from. They're worried about a game that people are watching and the revenue they can produce.
Correct. And therein lies your challenge, because it's being funded by those TV networks primarily, right? Yeah. That's a big fund. But they're not the stewards of the game.
No, they're just want the game. They just want the game.
Yeah. All right, go
One
ahead.
last thing on this. One last thing on this.
Do more this summer.
This just came out. Reebok today. cut a deal with Arkansas freshman basketball standout Darius Acuff. He's going to be a top 8 to 10 player in the upcoming NBA.
Maybe higher.
First college player to get his own shoe deal.
Really?
It's interesting that it's Reebok.
Reebok.
So
they want to get back in the
hanging
business.
around in there. They need to go.
Yeah.
Time for them to go if they're going to get back in the game.
Business. 3 guys before the game brought to us by Gomart. All right, Brad, what's the deal? Gomart has its final value day for the month of March coming up. It's Thursday, March 26th. What do we got?
So you go into any Gomart location throughout the state, and you walk in, you do your little spin of the record on the app, and you're going to they're going to throw the pricing back on one item. And the item coming up this week, guys.
What is it, Brad?
You get a Reese's coupon.
Oh.
You can go get Reese peanut butter cups for 50 cents.
How much?
50 cents.
2 quarters, 5 dimes, 20 nickels.
Reese peanut butter cups, 50 cents.
10 nickels.
Thursday at Gomart stores around the state.
That'd be nice.
That's where I'm going Thursday, Hop.
50-cent Reese Vinyl Value Days on Thursday.
Well, that is nice, boys.
Get the app at Gomart. Get the app on your phone. Go into Gomart. Do. Boom, you're in. You get 50-cent Reese. It's a pretty good deal because I've talked about the price of candy, man. Price of candy's gone crazy.
Well, Big Candy's losing on this one.
Hey, tell Honor about that. He's a big candy guy.
Big Candy.
Well, probably, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Big Candy guy.
Yeah, Honor off.
Good to see you. Yeah, good to see him today. What are those shoes that Jasper was wearing today? You know all these shoes. They're like a light
blue. I don't know if they might have been. I don't know if they were Kyrie's or Sabrina's. I don't know which ones those were.
Honor offered me a pair of shoes, but we're different sizes.
Really? Did he?
Yeah, when we were doing our thing out at the hunting and fishing show.
Well, that was nice.
I mean, you kind of guilted him into that. I mean, he wasn't going to give you a pair of his shoes. You kept badgering him.
That's true.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
No,
he's a nice guy. You were badgering. You were badgering.
You are a bit of a badger.
I didn't quite view it that way.
I'm aware you didn't view it that way. For being self-proclaimed self-aware, I'm aware you didn't see it that way.
Time now for Textual Healing. It's brought to us by our friends at WVU Medicine, the exclusive healthcare provider for all mountaineers, including you. You know, life is busy, and the folks at WVU Medicine have the answer for your busyness, and that is the MyChart app. You can go to MyChart, and you can schedule your appointments anytime, anywhere you might be. Just do it right off of your phone. It could be a virtual visit, could be an in-person visit with your doc. Booking is quick, it's easy. If you don't have an account, it's super easy to do. Go to mywvuchart.com and download the app. mywvuchart.com, download the app. Take control of your health with WVU Medicine and WVU Chart.
One last thing before you start here.
Yeah.
Another shout out. Down at the state tournament this week.
Yes.
We were down there.
We were.
Had a wonderful dad and son came up. John and Waylon from Summers County.
Oh, were they there?
They were there, yeah. Waylon, it was great to talk to Waylon, little guy. He listens. His dad said, it's not just me listening. Waylon
How old
listens.
is he?
He's, I don't know, 6, 7?
Huh.
We had
John and Waylon, Summers County.
Tony,
Thank
we
you guys.
missed you. We had Metro News Television and radio. We did the whole tournament for 2 weeks, girls, boys. Brad and I were there for the TV on Saturday.
I would like to have been there. Didn't get the invite.
Good games.
Great
Good
games.
And I had the single A and the double A. Brad had triple A and quad A. And I got to see, again, Eli Sancombe from Wheeling. Pretty good player.
2 straight Gatorade Players of the Year for Eli.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Going to, got another championship going to Liberty.
So didn't see any of those, but I saw the end of Spring Mills and George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic. Drama. I mean, it's good basketball.
Brad had that.
I watched it. I know.
You didn't watch mine. You watched his.
I was busy. I was doing baseball.
Oh, that's right. You had baseball. That's right.
Yeah. I was doing
the pitch.
baseball. Yeah.
Counts
You did
3
do
and 2.
baseball. How was that?
Loved it.
Did you like it?
Loved it.
It's a lot more relaxed, isn't it? You just sit there.
Oh, it's perfect.
I like that.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Beautiful day at the ballpark.
Steve, you can't say enough about that baseball program.
That's out number 2.
You cannot say enough good things
Oh.
about the way he runs that boat.
Didn't they sweep BYU?
They did.
Just send them back?
10 runned them in the last game.
Thanks for coming.
Got me out an inning early. Second series in a row that West Virginia has won one of the games on a 10-run rule that they started this year in the Big 12 that you can 10-run.
Not good.
So they got Baylor that way 2 weeks ago. Now last weekend they got the BYUs. And, yeah, they're really good. They're up to 15, and there's like 9 different services in baseball that rank teams. But West Virginia's as high as 15 this week. They play the Thundering Herd tonight, first of the 3-game season series. They'll play them Huntington tonight, Morgantown, then eventually they play them at Gomark Ballpark.
Aren't we going to be there?
Yeah, we're going to go to Hagerstown. We're going to be doing 3 guys in some capacity when they play Penn State in Hagerstown.
I thought we had something coming up next Friday.
Like April 15th-ish or so.
Yeah, we're not doing the next Friday because we're going to be in Vegas.
Oh, that's off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of events, do you need to talk about Day of Giving? Isn't that coming up?
Oh, yes, tomorrow. No, Thursday. Tomorrow.
Doing that later? Hold on.
What do you take speed before you get in here? What are you doing? Tomorrow.
I'm excited. I've been gone.
I mean, well, you can stay longer when you come. I mean,
well, you guys might cut me off or something.
No, we like when you're here. You just need to come more often. Yeah, the Day of Giving is Wednesday. There it is, March the 25th, which is the day after we're recording. We're recording here on Tuesday, the 24th, so it's tomorrow from the day that we record.
So it is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
All
That's
right.
a correct statement, Hoppy.
All right.
And there are a couple of things that we would love for you to get involved on. As you know, we've partnered with the folks at the WVU Cancer Institute. And tomorrow, there is going to be a Connection 304 link. So here's the deal. You're going to see it all over on social media. Our channels, WVU President Mike Benson and many others, will be posting throughout the day. Our focus is on that 304, Connection 304 fund. We'll have a link on all of our social. And remember, if you donate, we have a donor who is going to match $10,000. Once we get to $10,000 tomorrow, we have a donor that will match. And so our goal is to make $20,000 for the Cancer Institute tomorrow. So all the social posts that you see, or if you are someone that gets involved, you'll find the Connection 304 Fund. We ask you if you feel compelled and have the ability to link to it, give a donation, and once we get to $10,000, a donor will give it another $10,000, and off we go.
Nice.
I'm doing something tomorrow.
What are you doing?
Some event for Day of Giving involving the Cancer Institute. I don't have the details, but I'm doing play-by-play of something that's fun. I don't know if it's people eating marshmallows or whatever it might be. It's something fun, and I'm going to be there tomorrow, and my girl, Stephanie, is going to give me all the details.
You talk about me not knowing what's going on.
I just need to know that I need to be somewhere. That's all. Just tell me where to be, and then when I get there, I'm just like I'm a well-trained puppy. Just tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
I'll Google and see what you're doing.
I don't know if you'll find it, but it's a big to-do. You'll probably get invited over there. President a little bit upset yesterday you weren't at the game.
Yeah, I got a text from him during the game. Is he and his son? I think Sam had my seat. I think his son Sam had my seat.
My seat? We need to go to the hardware store and get some kind of a new washer on this microphone. I've dropped it twice. All right, let's do textual healing. Absolutely heartbreaking for those girls, but one hell of a season. Ton to be proud of. Sydney Shaw, Jordan Harrison, going to be tough to replace, but it feels like they've set the foundation for something bigger. Now, getting to be the host. What is the point of being the host if you can't do in-game things that make your home court advantage an advantage? So much music in between timeouts, it was hard for the crowd to get our chants going, and not being able to play Country Roads after the win on Saturday is ridiculous. If you're going to have schools host, let them do the things that truly make a home court. End rant. Well, for all the reasons you just said, you can't. And what you get when you get to be the home court team is you get to have your fans scream at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, right.
But all of those things are just the way it is, and you wouldn't want it any other way if you were on the road.
Right.
And so it just becomes basically it's a home game, but it's not a home game, blink, blink. So I thought the crowds, as we said, fantastic job. I thought the Sweet Caroline, a nice touch in both of the games, and then the fans self-sang Country Roads after the game on Saturday, but that's the reason being.
I enjoyed watching the Kentucky band when Sweet Caroline started because they thought it was going to be a fun sing-along until they saw the part come in that they were getting ready.
Let me just tell you this. I was sitting
I was
courtside.
entertained by that. They weren't aware of what was happening.
I'm sitting courtside. Every time the Kentucky cheerleaders came out, the student section would start the Let's Go Mountaineer chant and completely overwhelm them. And you could see on those poor buddies' faces, they were like, what are we supposed to do here? We're cheering, but no one is hearing. That Let's Go Mountaineers. By the way, that was the first time the students were behind the basket like it's going to be next year. Now, they were on both ends, right? And I think in the new seating, right, it's just over the basket that the West Virginia shoots at in the first half.
Correct.
Yeah. But that's a nice touch. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes. All right, here we go. Texter Uncle Chuck writes, I picked one upset in this year's NCAA tournament, VCU over North Carolina's. How long can we hope the karma from last year's selection haunts Chapel Hill sports? Ball don't lie. There you go.
It won't ever be enough. It could be every year for the rest of time. It won't be enough.
Texter asks, are we getting any Rev Kev barbecue at baseball games this year? I called the good pastor on my way over today to ask the question. He said no, not bringing the trailer over this year. Actually needed the parking spaces because Rev Kev's trailer takes up some space. But I do have this for you. They are now selling Rev Kev barbecue Thursdays and Fridays at his church in Westover. They have the trailer set up. They open at 11 a.m. They sell till they're sold out. And he says if you're not there by 12:15, 12:30, it gets tight. So if you want it, Thursdays and Fridays, Kingdom EMC, Westover, pull in. They got a ton of parking. And trailers there, go get what you'd like. And they're now he's doing this double smash burger now.
What now?
I bet that's good.
Oh, he says it's like addictive. A double smash burger with some it's like really good. So you can get it there from the Rev.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Charlie from Midlothian writes that he was at the state tournament, says that he's now friends on Facebook with our former workmate, Tucker County Tyler Consolidated Kennedy. He remembered me, he said, for my visit to Three Guys for the Kirchvale can reveal. By the way, he suggested I ask you, Tony, how your HVAC unit is doing. Well, after it cost me $17,000 that time, it's doing just great.
Well,
I had to move.
Well, you haven't had him come back and house sit, so it's doing great.
Well, there's a caveat to that story, as we well know.
Well,
you made him swear not to go upstairs.
I sat next to him during the game yesterday.
Tyler Taylor.
He's hilarious. By the way, speaking of people coming up to us at the game, longtime basketball official, longtime John Marshall High School baseball coach, Bob Montgomery, was there. And it was fantastic to see him. He literally was working a game this year, refereeing, and died on the court.
Really?
Twice. They revived him twice off of the floor, life-flighted him here to WVU Medicine. And it was the Widowmaker.
Oh.
They stented him, and he is up.
Wow.
And he is good enough to come see the game yesterday. So it was fantastic to see
great.
Bob. Yeah, great to see him.
Hey, can I give you a story almost kind of semi-related to the end of the West Virginia game? You know, where West Virginia throws the ball in, it was 0.2 of a second, probably should have been a little bit more, 0.2 of a second, and who'd they throw it to, Brad? Who caught it?
It was
was it Mimi? Wasn't
no,
Cece,
it
was it?
Not Mimi. It
Wasn't
was,
Cece. I don't remember.
it was McCray, I believe.
Was
Could it have been McCray?
So all you can do with 0.3 or less is to tip.
Correct.
You can't catch and shoot, right?
Correct.
That's correct.
For one of our games in Charleston Saturday morning, in the first half, near the end of the first quarter, I think it was, or just before halftime, and I forget which team, 0.3 of a second, they throw it in under the basket, in the paint, player catches it, shoots it, and scores, and the ball goes in prior to the buzzer, or the shot goes off prior to the buzzer. But it's waved off because it's 0.3 of a second. And the rule
they said they made a catch?
Yeah, because they said it made a catch. And so everybody was upset. Everybody was, what? They got it in before the buzzer went off.
Can't catch it.
But you can't catch and shoot. So it was the right call.
Yeah.
Just an interesting, which you don't see that often.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Texter, there's many things to complain about on college athletics. Low on the radar is game times, but all season, We've had weird start times. Games in the tournament tip at 10:30 p.m. in the East, 10:30 a.m. in the West. Also, why the standalone games on Saturday and Sunday only to have 9:45 tips on them nights? Make it make sense. So I wrote back to this person, and I said, it's really super simple sense. One word, television.
Mm-hmm.
Television pays the NCAA. Television pays conferences. Conferences pay the schools. In order to receive that money, you surrender your rights as to what time the games are. You are dictated what time the games are. Why does television start games at when you think is a weird time? Because there are various time zones across our country that go from east to west, which are 3 hours. And so television's goal is to spread the games so that they fully fill a day. And so you're absolutely 1,000% correct. It's super weird. Back here, when these games go late, like in Vegas next week, we'll start at 5 o'clock Vegas time, which will be 8 o'clock here. But the second game will go, so what's that? 7:30. That's 10:45, 11 o'clock here start. So you're absolutely right, but quite simply, it's always the TV folks.
Tony, the CBS and Turner are paying the NCAA for the first time for the tournament rights $1 billion.
Billion a year.
Yeah, it's the first time it's gotten to $1 billion. So they might say, we're playing at 8 in the morning, and somebody goes, we're paying you $1 billion. Shut up, show up.
Yeah. Jennifer, the lamb raiser, that's the young lady I bought my lamb from. I need another one, by the way, Jennifer.
You
Tell me
that
when.
lamb already?
Oh, kidding me? She wants to know where Sydney Shaw ends up in the WVU record book in career threes. So, because she was at Auburn for 2, not as high as you would think all time at West Virginia, because she had 2 here. But if you take her 2, if you prorate it and say, okay, for 2 seasons, she'd be really close to the top of the list. 3 guys, best Mountaineer atmosphere I ever attended, gut-wrenching loss to Kentucky, and now added to the list of soul-crushing losses that have continuously occurred for decades on running.
Wow.
If that isn't a Mountaineer. The Sweet 16 berth was ours for the taking in our home court, and we just simply fell short. Unless we can increase Kellogg's base salary, distribute more rev share to women's basketball, and come up with at least $4 million in NIL to replace our seniors, it might be a while before West Virginia can even have a puncher's chance to reach that elusive Sweet 16 berth. Either we need to start a GoFundMe page to raise about $4 million for a successful portal off season, or spare us the agony and let's just rebuild the old-fashioned way.
Efforting.
Yeah. Everything's pointing in a good direction.
Mm-hmm.
Texter, hey, 3 guys, good news on J.J. Weatherholt. He will be the Cardinals' starting second baseman. He's still the favorite for NL Rookie of the Year.
Pretty awesome. DraftKings has him currently 3rd in the National League Rookie of the Year award
I saw that.
voting. So
I saw that, man. But, boy,
Awesome
that's a lot of pressure. My gosh. I'm following. I check the box score every day.
Do you go to Sporting News and get a big newspaper? Do you pull it out and look down the?
Well, I go down to the news.
box score.
I go down to the newsstand.
That's very good by you.
When I was like in first and second
very
grade,
good.
you would go to the library,
Yeah.
and they had those Sporting Newses. Probably middle school Sporting Newses, and they were all like laid out. And you would pick up a Sporting News that weighed like 1.5 pounds, and they would have the box score of every baseball game that had been played the previous week.
That's great. Well, you didn't have to go that far back, though. I was doing it in college. They still had those. I mean, that went a long time.
I love the papers, old guy talk, where it had a whole agate page.
Oh,
because the agate page had all the stats.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Of all the people listening, and we're so blessed and thankful we have thousands of people listen to each episode, how many would know the definition of agate or have heard agate?
Not a whole
6.
ton. Not a whole
6
ton.
people.
I reckon
know what I
back.
mean?
Yeah, but barely.
Let me just say this.
But I'm barely.
Let me just
I
say
love
this.
the agate page.
I
industry term,
miss
agate.
the days of walking into Semler's newsstand and just smelling the ink off the newspapers.
Oh,
I used to get excited when the bus would come to town and stop at Jack Hines, and they'd throw the newspapers off, and you'd get the New York Post from the same day, right?
Yeah.
At Semler's News, and you go like, holy heck, this is like gold to get a newspaper from a big market on the same day.
I just finished a book, The Boys of Summer.
Yeah.
Great baseball book.
Sure.
And in the days, some of the heydays of baseball in the 50s and newspaper competition in New York City, there was a number of newspapers. And one of I forget which paper he worked for, but they would put out multiple editions.
Yes.
And they would try to get the very latest
Yes.
box score.
Hoppy, they used to do that at the Big East tournament. When I was in school, I would go to the Big East tournament. They would produce multiple editions of the New York Post as the tournament games were going during the day. So like you'd be able to walk out of the morning session and just like, Johnny's win. And then like at nighttime, Villanova, prepared to play. Like you had multiple in the same day.
That's crazy.
And now replaced by digital. You just refresh now and you get a new story.
Well, now you're going like this and going, oh,
Yeah.
I see where the pitch went.
Yeah.
Counts 2-2. Pitch was outside.
Last one, Jeff and Scott Depot want to give a shout-out to the women's basketball team. Awesome season. I was at the tournament games, and I also want to give a shout-out to the fans. Coliseum rocking. It was a great experience for everyone. That's the way you support a team. Let's go. And on that note.
No, wait. You got one more there. You can't forget the last one there's a picture.
Oh!
Don't forget
Somebody
that one.
got
They're
the
at a big
picture
space.
made.
Thank you very much. I would have
one.
screwed it up. I thought you gentlemen may like this photo. This is my daughter, an excellent high school athlete in her own right, with her friend at a Young Life event. It was pickleball and pizza night. Ha! You surely recognize that young man next to her. That is Kingston.
Yeah,
Kingston Whitty.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming to West Virginia. He's an excellent high school basketball player, future Mountaineer. Indeed, a great kid, flat-out baller. Can't wait to see him in gold and blue. And in this world of constant recruitment, we make sure that West Virginia is always on the top of his mind, signed by Jay in Asheville, North Carolina. So shout out to your daughter and her pickleball exploits. High-level athlete, as you said. And there's Kingston. We met him on his recruiting visit here.
Mm-hmm.
Brad and I would like to think we closed the deal, but perhaps it was his mom who saved the person that was choking during his recruiting dinner, and she went Heimlich on him. But he has blossomed into a big-time recruit, and he will play next season, and he will probably be above double-digit minutes a game.
He certainly will be. He's a guy that came in. West Virginia felt like they got a little bit of a steal when he committed, that he was about to blow up and would have a great season, and that's exactly what has happened. So great young man. Family seems terrific, and you're right. That's like that's not even a joke of the story you told. Literally.
Oh yeah.
Literally
and
saved,
I know the guy,
saved a life.
And I know the guy.
So do we.
Yeah.
Literally saved a life there while she was on a recruiting visit. So meant to be a Mountaineer, and we'll see him here soon.
He'll be the one.
He's a guard.
He's a
point
he can
guard.
handle
One or
it.
two?
Yeah,
He's a
he'll
guard.
play in the backcourt.
6'2", 165.
Yeah, baller.
A little bit taller, I think.
Baller. All right, we're back Thursday.
Oh.
We will talk more Mountaineer basketball. Let's just say this. Don't miss the episode.
Well, don't miss any episode.
Yeah, but don't miss this episode.
We got a lot going on.
Three Guys brought to us by GoMart. Get a GoMart Rewards app. Download it. Go to GoMart.com for the details. Get that 50-cent Reese cup on
Thursday.
the 26th, March 26th, Thursday.
That would be day after tomorrow.
Well, it depends on when you're
Well,
listening.
Hoppy,
You
if
don't-
they're
you can't say
listening,
that. They
if they're
might listen
listening,
to
it's
this.
April 8th, and they're going to go, it's tomorrow. I can't go tomorrow. I go March 26th to give them a date. It's not a live show. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales
Good
in
Thursday.
St. Albans. They said, will you help him? Give him some flashcards. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com.
Well, if you're listening today, stay
Honda McLaren Racing Motor, Honda Marine Premium Dealership. They're just the
If
best.
you're listening live,
I'd like to get a boat from Lou Wendell, put Hoppy on it with just one tank of gas and put it on autopilot.
headed toward the dam.
Send his ass out to the Gulf of Nowhere. Three Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. By Comax Business System, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient.
Sounds like a Viking
for
tradition.
25 years. Put them on one of those
Put them on the
air
boats.
tubes. They get an air tube, put them on there, and just swing them around. By Jan Dill's attorneys at law, they won't take no for an answer. Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. By WVU Medicine, the exclusive healthcare provider for all mountaineers, including you. Brad, you have 30 seconds before you said you had to exit.
We're good.
Good. We'll just
got
let
it.
the
You gotta
doctor
leave?
posting it
Shot
up.
clock winding down. We're fine.
We're done. All right. For Hoppy, for Brad, and special thanks, our producer jumping in today, Zach.
Zach
Good to
is
see
in
Zach
today.
back.
Great to
Yeah.
see Zach.
He is terrific. All right. We're out. Don't miss Thursday. We're going to talk WVU basketball in detail. See you.